Indiana basketball finally gets some good news out of the transfer portal, and more could be on the way.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet if it wins. Go to FanDuel.com. Well, we've got transfer portal news for Indiana basketball. Good news finally, and I think more could be on the way with a top standout transfer portal player visiting and visiting, okay? More on that in a little bit. Plus, some offensive line concerns possibly for Indiana football as injuries have seemed to plague the Indiana Hoosiers so far in spring. But finally, Indiana basketball gets some good news out of the portal. You've got Conor Enright from DePaul and Tucker DeVries from West Virginia. Two guys that we were very confident in. The DeVries situation we knew was going to happen, right? I've been telling you that it was going to happen. We were confident in that. We were just waiting on all the logistics to go through, from him leaving West Virginia, his dad taking the job, entering the portal, paperwork, and all that fancy schmancy stuff, right? We were waiting on all of that to be finalized, but there was almost zero concern and zero doubt that Tucker DeVries was going to be an Indiana Hoosier. And for good reason. I mean, this guy is really, really good. He's 6'7". He's rated the number one small forward in the transfer portal. He averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks this past season in just the 8 games that he played at West Virginia, because he got hurt, and we expect him to be fully fine and ready to go. But the reason you go get this kid is, yes, his scoring, but it's how he scores, right? 41% from the floor, 47% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. Let me say that again, 47% from 3, averaging 15 points a game, 3 assists, 5 boards, and he's a defensive menace. This guy is a baller, okay? He's going to be one of the best players on Indiana's roster coming up this season in 2025 and 2026. And rightfully so. You figured this would be a seamless transition, right? You figured this would be easy for Tucker to do, for Darren to do, for dad and coach, or dad and son, and coach and player. I mean, this just made sense. And it's nice to see that it has finally come true. And again, I think he's probably, as of right now, going to be your go-to guy. He's going to be your player when you need a bucket, when you need some momentum, when you need to get back in the game. Tucker DeVries needs the basketball in his hands. And you just got a commitment from a guy that can get it to Tucker DeVries, that can put it in his hands. And it's Conor Enright from DePaul, somebody we've talked a lot about here on the channel, the guard from DePaul who played for Darren DeVries back in their Drake days, has committed to play for Indiana, who has 1 year of eligibility. He averaged 7.5 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 32% from 3, did Conor Enright, and 63% from the free throw line. Would love to see that be better as a guard. I don't know. I have a thing with guards. You should shoot at 75% minimum, but, I don't play basketball. I used to, wasn't very good. And so it's easy for me to say that here. I just think guards have to have that shooter mentality. You've got to have the closeout ability down the stretch, but that's nitpicking on something when the grand scheme of things is this guy's really, really good. Had one of the highest assist rates in the country. He is a pass-first guard. That's just what he does. He tells you that. There's quotes out there right now from him after he committed to Indiana. He is a pass-first guard. He's also a really, really good defensive player, somebody that focuses on defense, somebody that's a pesty defensive guy who wants to do the dirty work. He wants to steal the ball. He wants to take charges. He wants to cut guys off. He wants to guard their best player, their best ball handler. And that's what Indiana needs, right? You brought in guys last year like Miles Rice and Cannon Carlisle that you thought were going to be something like this. You thought they were going to be those pretty good scoring, good on defense, just down and dirty guards. They just weren't. They just weren't. Indiana missed on those guys. Mike Woodson missed on those guys. Conor Enright seems to be a little bit different. He seems like he's actually got it going on. I mean, again, he played for DeVries at Drake, then he played in the Big East at DePaul, and now he's stepping up to play his biggest level of basketball and play at Indiana in the Big Ten. He talked about how he's been to Assembly Hall before, how he can't wait for that, the passion of the Indiana fans. I mean, he gave some quotes to 247, so go check those out if you want to read some of those. And so he's excited to be here, and it makes perfect sense. You bring in two guys, Tucker, yes, but Conor Enright as well, who have played for the head coach before. You don't have to teach them your ways if you're Darren DeVries. You don't have to teach them your strategies. You don't have to teach them your game plan, right? The way that you run a program, the way that you run a system. They just know. Now, sure, you're going to make some changes and things like that, but at the core, they understand. And you can lean on them in year one, heck, even in the summer and things like that. Both of these guys have just the 1 year of eligibility, so you can't lean on them for several years, but you can lean on them when you need help. When you need some leadership in the locker room, you go to Conor Enright. When you need somebody who can get the offense out of a slump, you go to Tucker DeVries. You have options now. I think you just found two starters. I think you're 2 of 5 right now, complete. If you're Darren DeVries in Indiana with Tucker DeVries from West Virginia and Conor Enright from DePaul. And there's more on the way. You still got to get a center. You still got to get some forwards. You still got to get some bench players as well. But there is a top transfer portal target from the D2 level that is considering Indiana, has taken a visit, has some things to say, and is gaining serious interest, not just in the portal, but around the NBA as well. We'll talk about who that is and why you need to keep an eye on this guy when we come back here, coming up on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Daylight savings has snuck up on us again, and if we're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power you through. Whether you're staying up late, watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. With the longer days right now, I love to try and get outside. I try to go at least hit the range. I don't always have time to play golf, but I at least try to hit the range or do something like that. And Tropical Burst is my go-to flavor for when I do that. Stop by the gas station, get me one of those, and hit the range. Head to 5hourenergy.com for over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. If you need one right now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5 Hour Energy. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here. Again, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. And look, if you're listening on audio, I appreciate you doing that. If you're watching on YouTube on the video side of things, appreciate you doing that as well. As we are continuing to grow here in the month of April, my audio listeners, make sure you are following us. Make sure you're subscribed if you can. Have those notifications turned on for when we post new episodes. That way you don't miss any of those. And then share it with your friends. Send it out to everybody you know. We want them listening to Locked On Hoosiers. And if you're on YouTube, there's a 3-step process, all right? Hit that thumbs up. That means you like the video. It shares it, spreads it out. The algorithm on YouTube does its thing. Also, be sure that you comment down below. Leave your thoughts. I want to know what you have to say about Conor Enright being official, about Tucker DeVries being official, and any other names that you think Indiana should be going after. Leave those in the YouTube comments below, and then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me give you an update as we are recording right now. We're pushing for 5,300 subscribers, okay? 5,280. That's where we are right now. So be sure you hit that subscribe button if you like what we got going on here, and you'll be notified every single time we post a new episode. Well, as exciting as it is for Conor Enright from DePaul and Tucker DeVries from West Virginia, that's only two. And we're going to need some more guys to take the floor in November. And so Indiana's still working around and looking. And yeah, we know that Conwell didn't work out, the Xavier guard who went to Louisville. And we know that Josh Dix, as of this recording, has not committed anywhere right now. Seems like it's down to Indiana and Illinois. But as of right now, there's nothing official on that yet. And we know that there have been a couple of players that we've reached out to that we didn't make a whole lot of progress on. But one that we did make some progress on, and a lot of people are starting to do the same. He's a portal player. He's a kid that's in the transfer portal. He's a top portal player from the D2 level. Yes, a Division II standout, Division II baller, Division II superstar, Elyjah Freeman. Okay, Elyjah Freeman is currently the top-ranked Division II transfer portal player who's getting a ton of attention from other college programs in Division I, but apparently is getting some NBA love as well. Some NBA scouts have found this guy, and they're like, hey, you need to keep an eye on him. He has a chance to be really, really good. He visited Indiana, and he's from Lincoln Memorial, okay, from Tennessee. A kid that not a whole lot of people knew. I didn't know about him, I'll be honest with you, until you started seeing some reports and the fact that he visited Indiana, and now NBA guys are taking notice of him, okay? This past year, Lincoln Memorial in Tennessee, he's 6'8" as a freshman. He plays a forward, but he looks like a guard. He averaged 19 points, 2.5 assists, 9 rebounds per game. Let me say those again. 19 points, 2.5 assists, 9 rebounds per game. He shot it at 58% from the field and 46% from three. Yes, he's 6'8", and he shot it at 46% from the three-point line and almost averaged a double-double. I understand this is D2 basketball. He was the go-to guy, okay? He was the give him the ball and get out of the way. He's a very good setup man. You put him in the right position, he's going to make the right play. You give him an open shot and set him up for that, he's going to knock it down. Does he have just the full-on creative ability? Sure, we'll go with that. I wanted to say creatability, but I don't think that's a word. But he's unable to create his own shot all the time. I think that's something he's still learning and figuring out. But he's just a freshman. He just completed his first year of college basketball. Yes, it was at the D2 level, but if you are getting love and attention from major programs in Division I, like Indiana, where he took a visit, and you're also having NBA scouts come and look at you and talk about you and write about you, you're doing something right. You're not a fluke. I don't care if you're playing in freshman basketball at high school in Alaska. Doesn't matter. If you're getting legitimate love from those guys in the NBA, you're doing something right. And I think 19 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and shooting it at 46% from three when you're 6 feet 8 inches tall, you're doing something right. And so he visited Indiana. And the question is, A, can you land him? And B, where does he go, right? How does he fit into what you're trying to do? And look, as of right now, I mean, he would be a perfect fit. Would you have the confidence in a guy like that to throw him in the starting lineup of a Division I Power 5 conference team? I don't know. Probably not. But I think that depends on what you get in the portal, right? I think it depends on your success in the transfer portal. Don't forget you have Trent Sisley coming in, your 5-star recruit who's going to be on campus. And so you have that as well. I don't know if somebody like Elyjah Freeman, you're like, hey, man, you played great at D2. You're our starting forward. We appreciate you. Probably a power forward here. Go ahead. Good luck. Have fun. I don't know. You could maybe, right? If you see enough from him through the next several months, I mean, you could have that opportunity. You could have that option. I just don't know if that's where you want to be immediately. But in terms of where he would fit. I mean, you're looking at Enright now as your starting point guard. You're looking at Tucker DeVries as probably your small forward. This guy could be your power forward if you needed him to. You have Trent Sisley, who may be your starting guard as well. Don't know. We'll see how that plays out. You still need a starting center, but look, man, go look up Elyjah Freeman. He's a 4-star recruit now in the transfer portal, 6'8". Kid is a certified baller. I mean, just really, really talented and is only going to get better. He's only going to grow. I think that's kind of what everybody is talking about right now, is the fact that he is raw as can be, but just talented through the roof, right? I mean, just has everything you could want from a very young, talented guy. 6'8", again, averages 19 points and shoots it at 46% from three. Could he do that at the next level? Couldn't tell you. Have no idea. But if you're Darren DeVries, you've got to be excited about what this opportunity brings and how it would work with Conor Enright, Tucker DeVries, Trent Sisley, and others that you're going to bring in. Because again, we have to remind ourselves that DeVries has made it very clear he has a process here. He's going to do this the right way. He wants to recruit guys that will fit his system, that will fit together. And I said this yesterday, and I'll continue to say it. He's not just going to get the best names that he can possibly get. He wants them to fit properly. And I think that's something that last year for Mike Woodson, I think we fell into that trap. I think we fell into, let's just go get the best players we can. And look, because we were Indiana, because we had the facilities, we had the program, we had the NIL, you were able to go get Umar Ballo. You were able to go get Luke Goody. You were able to go get Miles Rice. And those were great on paper. They were great on paper, but they obviously didn't work out. Cannon Carlisle didn't work out, right? And so I think if you're DeVries, you're not looking at last year as an example because that wasn't your job. That wasn't you that did that. But he's not a first-time head coach. I mean, he knows what he's doing. And so to be able to land Enright, to get your son through and get him here, and to start having like a guy like Freeman visit you on campus, and Josh Dix, if you land him, I mean, holy smokes, man. This roster could be loaded. And if Josh Dix ends up coming here, then yeah, Freeman wouldn't have to be a starter. Sisley may not have to be a starter. I mean, you have options at that point if you are Darren DeVries and the staff. You just got to get those big names. You've landed 2. You got a high school recruit. You're still in it for Josh Dix. And I'm telling you, go look up Elyjah Freeman, Elyjah Freeman. Elyjah Freeman, the D2 superstar from Lincoln Memorial, 6'8". He's a rising sophomore. He visited Indiana, and I think he's got potential to be really, really good. All right, coming up here in our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers, we will flip to the football side of things where Kurt Signetti told us the other day, injuries are a problem. And we mentioned the wide receiver one, right? Michigan transfer. Morris is out for the year. But the offensive line is just not getting the runs that they need to because of some serious injuries. We'll talk about that in our final segment right here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. The NCAA tournament is here, and it's almost over, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can bet $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra to use on everything from buzzer beaters to, heck, even now in baseball, walk-off home runs, right? And even who's going to cut down the nets. And so, look, if you want to pick a champion, do you think Auburn wins? Do you think Florida wins? How about Duke or Houston? Who do you think wins in the Final Four? Who do you think wins in the national championship game? Put $5 on it, and when your bet wins, they're going to give you $200 in bonus bets, okay? Visit FanDuel.com to join today and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long for the rest of the way in the Final Four in the national championship. That's FanDuel.com.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
So be sure you are checking out the bracket breakdown. Andy and Isaac doing a great job. Gordon Hayward is on that set. I mean, they're talking to our 4 Locked On host of Auburn, Florida, Houston, and Duke. Those guys do an incredible job. Parker and JJ and Brandon and Zach, they do a great job of their 4 respective shows here on the Locked On Podcast Network. So yeah, be sure you're checking that out. If you have a Fire TV, just search bracket breakdown and they've got you covered for the upcoming Final Four and then the national championship game on Monday. And, we talked about the injury to the receiver room for Indiana, one that really, really hurts. You bring in a Michigan receiver through the transfer portal. You expected him to probably be your starting slot. And he goes down with a non-contact injury, has to get surgery, and his season has come to an end. But we got some more info from Curt Cignetti about the offensive line and how it is also banged up for Indiana, where you bring in 3 transfer linemen, right? You bring in 1 from Colorado, 1 from Notre Dame, and 1 from Ohio State. Well, your Colorado guy is not practicing because he's banged up. Thank goodness that Coogan is practicing because that's, of course, the Notre Dame kid. He ain't a kid. He's a man. Pat Coogan is able to go. Khalil Benson from Colorado is unable to practice at the moment. So you're kind of just moving guys around. You're trying to figure it out. You're really practicing with about 2 or 3 of your starters on the offensive line right now. And that's just not good, man. In the spring, you've got to be able to get those guys reps. You've got to get rotations. You've got to get depth. You've got to get experience. I mean, you've got Bray Lynch, who was here a year ago, who's practicing right now, according to Cignetti. Pat Coogan is still going, but Mikulski's not. Your Colorado guy is not, right? Khalil Benson from Colorado is not. And so it didn't seem like Cignetti was stressed, but he probably is because this is the most important time right now. You've brought in a new quarterback, you have new running backs, you have new receivers, some returning, yes, but you're trying to rebuild this offensive line with 3 or 4 new faces, and you can't do it because of injuries. And so right now, you're playing with 2 or 3 guys that you think are going to be starters, and then you're rotating guys on the other spots and just trying to figure out, okay, what else do we have? Do we have good depth? Do we have guys we can rely on? Do we figure out, okay, you can play right tackle, but you cannot play left tackle, or you can, maybe we can put you at right or left guard, but oh goodness, when we put you on the right side, it's bad news bears, right? You're trying to figure all of that out right now. And I guess that is the one bright spot is you're getting young guys reps, but I don't know, man. That stresses me out. That worries me because spring is when you bring those new names in and you get them going and get them comfortable with each other because they have to play as one. They have to play on a string, and then you get them comfortable with the quarterback and other quarterbacks on the roster too. That's what people forget is you're not just trying to get, Coogan and these guys comfortable with Mendoza. You've got to be comfortable with all the quarterbacks in case something doesn't go right, in case, God forbid, he gets hurt or he doesn't have a good game or 2 and he gets pulled or whatever the case may be. You've got to be ready for several quarterbacks, and you can't even get your 5 offensive linemen starters healthy. And so that's a concern for me. You're hoping that most of this is able to be fixed. Cignetti said everybody should be, or most people should be good to go by the fall when that rolls around. But I'm just telling you, man, the fall is not when you want to be trying to figure out the offensive line. That's right now. And so you got to do what you can do. And thankfully, you do have some returning guys from a year ago. Coogan is good to go. He's going to be the anchor of that offensive line. But you got to get Benson and Mikulski, apologies. And you got to get these guys ready to go. I mean, heck, he told us that, and you got a guy in a cast because he broke his hand. And he's like, yeah, it's slowing him down a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure it is. He's in a cast with a broken hand. And so you got to get these guys back and healthy. And hopefully they can kind of work out together over the summer and then get to fall and be ready to go, because we understand that was a weak point for Indiana last year was the offensive line. You feel like you built that back up through the portal, but now you got to build it back up on the field. And if you can get that, you're going to be good to go. You're going to be just fine. And I think the offensive side of the football will still be really, really effective, possibly even more effective than it was a year ago. But you got to get that offensive line healthy, get them playing together, and get them right before the fall comes around. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you so much again for being here. Cannot stress enough how much fun we're having, and I hope you can feel the same and are feeling just, like we're doing doing what we can for you, because we are. And I love doing this show every single day and trying to bring you several topics of conversation, whether it be the portal, whether it be football, whether it be, news that breaks and stuff like that. So thank you so much for being here. And again, if you haven't already, like the YouTube video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you would. And our audio listeners, if you will, follow us over there, turn on those notifications, leave us a 5-star review. All of that helps us out tremendously. All right. We are back tomorrow, Hoosier fans, to wrap up the week. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.